All right, so welcome to the Frame Center podcast. Today we are lucky to have Melissa Smith from Hake Bone Broth from the Hanover Farmers Market back with us. You know, very a well-received guest from the last time. So we got our first repeat guest, aside from I think maybe Sean sneaking in on the podcast every once in a while.
Exactly.
So,
awesome. Still one of our highest rated episodes.
Yeah. So
Great.
I think that the public wanted her back. It just so happens that the farmers market is kicked right back up, and we're happy sponsors of the farmers market again. So we are excited to have you here. Maybe talk a little bit about the farmers market, some vendors.
Any new stuff that you got going on?
Yeah,
I'm sure
love
there's
to.
probably some new stuff.
No pressure on making this one another successful podcast,
Yeah.
huh? Great.
Go. No.
Yeah, I know. I'll have to really beg my followers to give it a listen. I love what you're doing here, so of course I was a yes to come back. I think, what I really like about, we've talked about this idea of supporting community, supporting the industries you're in, supporting local businesses, and I think not only does your podcast do it by giving us another outlet to share what we're doing, but I think also you're just, I loved sitting next to you at the Hanover Chamber dinner and you winning your award.
Yeah.
I think
It was a exciting evening.
Yes, and it was one of those things. I grew up here in Hanover. I said it in the last podcast. You and maybe Fred Astaire, I can remember as a kid, this building, having been a patron and a customer here for many years. I mean, you were rightfully so deserving of that award. But as I sat back, and our picture floated up on the screen, and my husband's, and it said Hanover Farmers Market and the Hake Bone Broth, I actually got I kind of choked up thinking I can roll with these pillars, and I'm creating some goodness in my community. I was psyched.
I think that you clearly do plenty for the community as well. I mean, and joking aside, I was very honored to take the award. At first I thought we had a good shot, and then we got there. I think we were talking prior, and then there's some there's some very there's plenty of deserving competition. Right. So I don't think it wasn't a it wasn't a cakewalk to take that There was some very had we lost, I probably would have pouted a little bit, maybe,
of course.
just because I'm kind of a sore loser. But there's plenty of people there that do so much good for the community. And Richardson's Insurance.
Oh, awesome! She's great. They're great. And again, Mayettes, knowing how long Mayettes has been around, seeing Tracy there. Having some new folks, bumping into B-Tone. They had supported us in the beginning. She messaged after the owner and was like, remember pre-COVID we were going to do a bone broth collaboration. There's so many great businesses, and then Powell Studios sitting there with us, who's newer to Hanover, but such a staple too in the med spa industry. Having her and her team in the town, it was. I honestly, I felt
don't sell yourself
honored.
short. I mean, everything. The farmers market is something that Hanover, I think has you to thank for it, and then some other great companies too, like the Four Corners.
Yeah.
I mean, just what they're doing there, and bringing that awareness to the community, I think is.
It's awesome.
It makes you a deserve.
Mm-hmm.
It just shows how much you care about your community.
Richardson for sure. Having them step up and really take hold of it. I think when also Richardson, like you, were absolutely a yes when we came back our third season to ask for sponsors for the farmers market. It was no hesitation. That helps us keep going, and then also knowing that we're partnering with people that also pour into the community. You and Richardson, Powell's sponsored this year, and then we have a new business that's part of the chamber too, Moses Fitness. He was a yes, and so again, it just, as I said in the last podcast, it really opens up my eyes to local business, what it means to be in it together.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's part of what we learned in COVID. That's the creative Free Frame Friday. That what do we do to continuously evolve and stay connected? And I know near and dear to your heart is staying personally connected to businesses and consumers. And the farmers market is literally all of that in one. We're the vendor, we're the maker, there's the growers, the bakers, and then our community gets to show up there one Sunday a month and meet those actual people. It's that's the instant connection that I think I guess I was exposed to when I was just a vendor at all the other markets we signed up for, but to be able to have it in Hanover, and I was mentioning going through the cast of who we have this season, like Zerbo's is now a brick and mortar. She's still showing up at the farmers market, and she took in a lot of the farmers market products
Yep.
into her new brick and mortar in Pembroke, and had fabulous bread this past farmers market, and will be there on Father's Day.
Yep.
It's so neat seeing all the mini collaborations among these vendors as well. I think that's what I love about the community, and then obviously, like I said, connecting with the businesses that help support it.
Yeah.
I got to go to my first one after you were here last time, and it was such a nice turnout, and you really bring a shopping cart when you go, just because it's just, you wouldn't believe how much stuff that you can walk away with, or at least a couple good sized canvas bags.
Yes.
Because I know with oh my goodness, why is it blanking?
Hippie.
For my dog, Bonafido.
Yeah.
They were great, and we were talking with them for a while. Hippie Pilgrim.
Yep.
So many different olive oils that I just have recently ran out, because they were
Yep.
like, oh, just buy this, and this pairs with this, and this goes with this.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
sounds
oh, well, I
great.
guess I'll take 4 of those.
Yes.
And 5 of those.
So
And it's like,
good.
Yeah,
Oh.
they need to put them in bigger bottles.
I know, we
my
need little
God.
carriers
Yeah,
or
so
something.
we have Right from the Vine, we have
Right from the Vine, yep.
Hippie Pilgrim, and Hippie Pilgrim just won a big award for best locally made product. We were up against them, and honored to even be again acknowledged. It was another farmers market. Did you shop at Mrs. Meckler? The Greta is her car, little. It's,
Oh, yeah.
The chocolates out of Cohasset
Oh,
Sugar
yeah.
Shack, and she was best. She was also nominated, and Hippie Pilgrim took the award, and we were like so psyched to even be nominated. But she is. I said this probably last time. She's the OG of farmers markets. I just told her the other day, she kills it in the farmers market game. She
Was
has.
she at Eaterville too?
She was at Eaterville, which was it inspires me. That and SOA. We were talking about these big markets that really host locally made products and artists really inspire, and I wanted to bring that sense to Hanover, like a bit of that feeling. So yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, well, you've done a great job. But they had are we relocating to the back?
So
now,
good
or-
question. The cool thing is Jill, who I couldn't do this without Jill Donnellan, who's the market manager. When the town asked us to make a switch to Cedar School, my old elementary school, hasn't changed in many moons. We of course said yes. All the vendors were on board. It's set up pretty well because of the playground for the families, and also the parking lot. Everything worked. I think though, almost just for a visual, the Hanover High School does set up nice. So if we have to move, we now have a backup. Cedar sets up great for Father's Day. We're still gunning for the front entrance of the high school. And I believe when we kicked off last month, we had over 30, almost 35 vendors. And I think Father's Day we're going to show up just the same, pretty much over 30 vendors. And we added, I don't think he was there. He was at the Hanover gift show, but Uncle Joey's Cannolis, he signed up this season for so good. So he's new. And then we added a great meat vendor. I believe she's out of Bridgewater, East Bridgewater. We can maybe make a note on the podcast, but woman owned, it's called Daddy's Homegrown. She has beef products. I bought the burgers and made them on Memorial Day weekend. They were excellent. We have a scallop guy this season.
Oh, wow.
Yep, he's out of Hyannis. The Midnight Hour is his boat that he's pulling those scallops. I bought those. Those are fantastic. So we
You
added.
had coffee too.
We
I
have
was excited
coffee.
about that.
Oh my gosh! So we had with this full season. We have Lady Sunshine, who's in
Yeah.
my dream mobile. I drive a Volkswagen now, but
Yeah.
she has the Volkswagen van,
Yeah.
and she pops it up.
Nice.
Sunshine was there last week. She's awesome. She coffee is a staple.
Yep.
Meats are a staple. Eggs are a staple. And we have Frita's Farm again, so produce. We have Stargazers. We have Kiss Flower Farm.
I remember them,
Kiss Flower's awesome with the jams, the eggs.
My mother bought a ton of that from when we were there.
Okay,
We bought
good.
A lot of the jams. We still have some left.
Good.
So.
We added a new Nutty Bird granola. I met him in Wayland.
Yep.
He was excellent. He's a lot of fun. His products super delicious. And the kids, we added music. Everybody loved it. I think that creates that community event.
Yeah.
That was fun.
It was nice. I think there's some vendors there when you get there as well selling lemonade and
Oh, yeah.
bracelets. Yeah.
Yeah, those are the little kid hustlers. My
Yeah.
daughter is definitely enjoying being a part of the market. She got her own cash box, which
Yeah.
I didn't realize why that was so important until I realized she keeps the keys hidden, so I can't touch the money she makes.
Oh, really?
Yes, I just found this out.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, why don't you give me that money? She's like, it's in the cash box and I'm not giving you the key. I was
Yeah.
like, oh my
Wow.
gosh. So she's got her own business going.
Protecting her investments.
I'm just gonna let her do her thing.
I think that's a nice welcoming crew when you walk
Yeah.
in. You know,
People love
yeah,
it.
Yeah, they're nice to see when you get there.
Yeah.
And,
Well,
yeah.
same, your tape, so when you offered to do the raffle, it was a hit. We were able to offer the, what do you call it, like historical maps of the town?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so we offered the raffle, and the woman that won, you were kind enough to
Yeah,
frame her town. It was Whitman.
Yep.
And I can't wait to do it again this month
Yeah,
for
we got the
Father's
Hanover
Day.
one there. I mean,
Yep.
if I wasn't sure if the people going would be mainly from
Nice.
Hanover.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm in Marshfield, and,
Yeah.
and we come. So,
Yeah.
but I think there's a connection, so that's a nice one to have
It was
on
awesome.
display. And
Great idea.
You know,
Um,
if
It was
it
very well
goes,
laid out.
great. If
Yeah.
somebody wins that's from a different town,
Sure.
we'll turn it, turn another town out.
Good. I like that. If you see my daughter's name thrown in there, Food Towns, you can like throw that one out. Like she might be hustling that too. I don't know. I didn't have my eyes on her. But yeah, the frame raffle was great. We also, what I think I love too is even to your Free Frame Friday, this past first market we kicked off, we added a new vendor named Citrus Daisy.
Yep.
And she was super nervous. She has been in the business doing like signs and home decor for, I think she's over 10 years, maybe close to 15. And when I approached her, she's in this other group that I formed about women in business and small women-owned businesses called the Girl Gang. And I said, hey, sign up for the
Yep.
farmers market. She's petrified.
Mm.
And it was so nice to see what she ended up taking away from her first market. She let her nerves
Yep.
she put them aside for the day. She went and set up. And obviously, as we talked about, when you connect with not only when you share your product, but when you connect with other people in that type of environment, you really start to feel like, oh yeah, they do like my product. They appreciate my hard work. They understand my business.
Yep.
And she had an excellent market. And then obviously kudos to you for sending her a Free Frame
Yeah,
Friday, because
I
it
had
was a
a,
beautiful picture.
Yeah, no, I mean, Jen explained the
Yeah,
whole significance of
Yeah.
the picture to me, and
Yeah.
one of my helpers out there, coming up with ideas and nominating people in a sense, because it's tough, you do it week in and week out.
You gotta
Some of
find
these
them.
weeks it's hard,
Yeah.
like finding the right pictures, and then I don't know if it's an algorithm thing too. Sometimes when I'm scrolling through Facebook trying to find it, I'm like, I see these people all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
These are the same people. I gotta
Yeah.
find some new people to send stuff
Yeah.
to. So having people help,
Totally. Yeah.
like Jen, like your buddy Ross,
Yeah,
some other
Whoever.
people, coming up with ideas, is awesome for
Good.
me. So
And
that
I
one
think
was great.
I think at the farmers market there's such a great pool of people to pick from, because I bet you felt it when you went the first time. The passion behind the making of the product
Mm.
also is what keeps us going, because setting up for farmers market, rain or shine, the lug, we always got the grind of like those moments that you're like, oh my gosh, it's not easy, but it's everybody believes so much so in their product that
Yeah.
you can feel it. So whether it's a Free Frame Friday or capturing the moment of when someone's selling their product, or they're they're in their spiel of what their product does, or you get to hear, I know Jason Cole Photography, maybe one of the photographers that will be at the market, he gets to tell the story behind the art,
Yeah.
stuff that you love to do. You have Dave's Pottery. I think he's going to be joining us again this season. You get to know that he's literally handcrafting it. So
Yep.
there is that feeling of what matters to them, and I think
Yeah,
that's why.
There were several vendors even my kids liked going into, and
Yeah.
there was a was it organic ice cream or
Oh yeah, it has Townies. Yes,
Townies, yes,
yeah,
yes.
they were there.
Yep, we tried a bunch of different variations of flavors of those.
Sure.
And,
Oh, and Sweeties. So Sweeties lives here in Hanover. I don't know if we mentioned them. They are the cutest couple. They have the coolest setup with, I think it's like I had one, I think, growing up, my grandparents, like those pop-up campers that, like,
Mhm.
you crank it,
Yep.
and then the thing comes up, and so when they crank theirs up, it literally is the shaved ice mobile.
Yes.
And it looks like it's gonna, like, dump out rainbows and unicorns, because it's, like, every color. So they have been also so incredible. My husband and I support the Tuesday food truck night in Hanover too.
Yeah.
My daughter plays lacrosse, so we end up at the fields.
Hey, yeah.
And we didn't want to take away from the vibe of the food truck, but we did sprinkle in, because Sweeties and Uncle Joy's cannolis, and who else do we have? For Father's Day we have Mom on the Go.
Oh, yeah.
My daughter's a big fan of her grilled cheese.
Mhm.
They drink our bone broth. We have had this little relationship going, so we had them. We wanted to, like, bring in a few food trucks to keep that kind of, a little bit fresh and a little.
Keeps people there longer too. If you don't have to
100%.
leave to go get something to eat, if you can get it while
Yes.
you're there, you can keep walking around for a little bit longer too.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad business.
It's a
like
great
you're doing
point.
it, yeah.
And the kid, there's sometimes why we were pushed back to the Cedar School was there was a huge dance recital that day at the high school. But sometimes on an overlap, these haven't sprinkling in the food trucks or the prepared foods. You get a crowd. You get the kids coming off the court, the tennis courts, the football, the lacrosse. So I still do. People always ask, like, why haven't you gone to Forge Field or down to Sylvester Field? I'm like, I just kind of like the high school. I think it's a great tucked in spot.
It's an easy place for people to get to. There's plenty of parking too,
Yeah,
which is also
agreed.
nice. 'Cause I found, again, I had never been there, so it was easy for me to
Yeah.
find right very easily with my GPS. I
Yeah.
got there and with no
And like Dave
problems.
said, I like the fact that Marshfield, we do have a mix. Whitman,
Yep.
we have a lot of Pembroke, Hanover, Norwell.
Scott's coming down from Weymouth. Yeah.
Weymouth, that's
Yep.
great. And that's when we first approached the vendors, I had to kind of do that whole pitch to be like, because we're all tapped out. I'm doing Hake Bone Broth is doing a market 7 days a week. Some days today double. Thursdays we're in sometimes we're in Milton, Cohasset, and Plymouth.
Oh yeah,
So 3
you're
markets.
all over.
And that's the majority of the crew that we roll with.
Yeah.
We're all everywhere. And what it is like, oh my gosh, when do you make your product?
Yeah.
And when do you have a day off? Which is usually never, but you have to make your product. So a lot of makers, pickers, and growers do it on Sunday.
Mhm.
So, but the real pinnacle, a lot of the big markets, everybody of course picks Saturday. And I'm like, we'd be competing against very old school markets like Hingham,
Yeah.
Braintree, the ones we started with, Attleboro, and so we're like, we don't want to compete, we just want to pick. So everyone's asked, why do you only do one Sunday a month? Because we need a day off. So one Sunday's doable. I went to like some real signature, like old school farmers market people. I said, can you handle doing one extra Sunday a month? And everyone said yes, but that's kind of the theory behind why we do only one.
Well, the thing about one Sunday too is just sense of urgency to get you there,
Got it.
right? Like
Yeah.
you can go we'll do it next week.
Yeah.
If it's,
Yeah.
if
Very
it's every
true.
week.
Yeah, if it's every week, you don't have.
And the point there, what they call some markets is a shopping market. So Hingham on Saturday is like when you plan to go food shopping, like
Yeah.
people. So they're every Saturday. Then there's destination markets. Cohasset's a nice destination market. It's like, I'm gonna go, I might buy something, I'm gonna hang out. There's usually art, it's on their common.
Mhm.
We wanted a combination of both those.
Yeah.
So the sense of urgency to know, I'm gonna put this on my calendar once a month. I'm gonna stock up. I'm gonna get
Yeah.
my favorite bone broth, my favorite scallops. I'm gonna get my meats, my eggs, my jams, my Boss's sauce that's vegan. That's
Yeah.
right up your alley.
Yeah.
It is so good.
Yeah. no,
I'm
we
very
get
picky on my
and
sauce.
the pastas he sells.
Oh.
Just, I didn't realize that wasn't him.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it,
I think it's daily. Aunt Dahlia's maybe.
Yeah.
I'll find out. But yes, that's great. And the pesto from Lara's Cuisine,
Yeah.
and her pasta and they're straight from Italy.
Yeah.
Pino and his wife, they're a phenomenal couple. They have their daughter I see
Mhm.
bumping around too, just like mine.
I'll have to try some of those pastas. The next one.
Their
Jen,
egg.
Jen was
I
like,
think
why would you? Oh, there's.
yes,
there.
that's probably why you haven't tried it.
Nah.
But
The
it is.
last time she was like, what do you? How much pasta do you have?
Yeah, Boston is so. He has such a great brand.
Yeah.
And then same thing with this idea of creating a community event once a month but also the shopping. The idea of urgency would be, I'm going to make sure I get there once
Yeah.
a month to get all the things I want. That's what it became. It was like my wish.
Mhm.
And also not to feel pressured when I knew it was going to happen. Season 1 it happened. Season 2 everyone's like, can you do it more often? And it's almost like I had to have boundaries. And then this season we kicked off, and ironically we went the other way. We actually condensed it. We took 1 hour away, even still, because our time is so precious. We're like, get here, shop it up. Like, in our last market of the season last year happened to be a crappy day. It was the only day it was crappy. And I was next to Burke's Hot Sauce. We love them. They just opened up in Hanover a new tap room. Yep, they bought Burke's Ale Works, and they just opened up the fermentory. And we were next to each other in this terrible weather, and all of a sudden, I mean, our people showed up. They swooped in. The market was like, and it was like raining sideways, and she was like, I just had the biggest sales in the last hour, in 1 hour, that I had in most markets. People had that sense, I need to get to the market, rain or shine. So that's what we wanted. We wanted to make it work for our vendors. Their time and their effort, so demanding and grinding and so important to them. So we do thank you to you guys too, a really hard press on social media, on the newsletter. We create content that hopefully matters in the newsletter. We do collaborations on recipes. I write some recipes that include the products. We give shout outs to the vendors and the sponsors on the website, so people know who's behind the scenes and how important and fun and what it's all about.
I started following several of you guys after being there.
Thank you.
The cards, because that's the other thing. I found a lot of people running out of cards and things to give out to people when they got to there.
It's been awesome.
I'm like, okay, hold on, I gotta take a picture of your stuff now, because you have no cards left, just to remember, where to order from and where to get from. So
people can find the newsletter, sign up for the newsletter
on the website, on Hanover Farmers Market website. That's a good one. You can sign up, I think, right next to when everybody tries to win your frame of the map, there's another physical sign up. So you can do that. And then you can follow us on social media. We do a ton of posts when the season gets going, of all of the vendors and any sort of updates and news. So it's been nice. And then we'll share the podcast, because that's been awesome too. Anytime we can link up with our sponsors or do something to support, it's just been awesome.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was, like I said, it was a great experience. I've never been to a farmer's market in the area, because again, from what I originally thought was vegetable stands and things, and then realizing it was everything from handcrafted items to foods to candies and crafts and all kinds of different things. Wasn't what I had expected. So one thing I will recommend for people that have gone who haven't gone before is, one, get there early. Because by the time I got to the end, they were like, "Oh, I'm sorry, we ran out of this." 10 minutes after we opened, and then the other thing is bring bags and insulated bags with ice, so that anything you need to, because last time I went, it was a very, very warm day, and some of the chocolates became one whole piece on the ride home, some of the toffee.
So, it's funny you say that. As rookies, I remember we were doing our first farmer's market. We had no clue what we were doing, and we didn't have any budget, nor could we afford much, so I got canvas bags for Hake Bone Broth. And these were like longer markets, and we'd give someone a nice canvas bag, they'd throw our broth, and they'd come over, and it was like already starting to get soft. And I was like, you know what? So we now do cooler bags. We sell Hanover Farmers Market cooler bags and canvas bags for some of like the other items, which is great. We've learned so much along the way to help support
extra little things that just make it a little easier to enjoy, to be able to stick around long enough. Like, okay, well, I bought all these frozen things, or like some meats, or eggs. I gotta get them out of here. It's 85 degrees outside in the sun. But to have those and let you enjoy it a little more leisurely, because sometimes there's a big wait to get up to the booth just to see who's got what.
We pull a line, for sure. I would say broth man, sometimes you can't see him on a Saturday. It's like a sea of people like, I need a bag, I need a bag. It's so fun. And you're right. Get there early, because some of your favorite flavors will sell out, from the salts to the soaps. There's a really wonderful beekeeper down in Pocasset, and it's called Pocasset Naturals. So she's a beekeeper, a teacher, a dog mama, and she sells like beauty products. So she's like all natural. And the same thing there is like, get your products soon before your favorite products.
Because I just walked the path naturally, just following along, staying. By the time I got to the last couple of vendors, they had like 3 things left on the shelf, and I'm like, oh, I'll take that one.
And funny, they'll usually, all of us are such hustlers, will be like, we'll deliver, give us your address. It's like, we will get you the product. We are so dedicated, And we also even offered, we'll swap with each other. Like,
Oh,
so there's a salsa company from, they're vegan.
Yep, they're
Great. They're awesome. From
a lot of
great-
flavors too.
Oh,
Too much.
he's
Like
so
we ended up
awesome.
with like six, I think 6 or 7 last time. Because
Yes.
there's like
If you're like
there's
the
two.
pickle
Yeah,
one.
you just want to try
Yeah.
everything.
So
you know?
good.
Right.
So good. So we love them, husband and wife, and I found them in Braintree. I think I mentioned them last year. I was like, you should come to Hanover, and they too. It's always I don't know if we can physically do it. I think he's a bus driver maybe, and so they did it. And they sell out. And one
Yeah.
of our rules I have personally is like, I'm not gonna buy, I want their salsa, but I'll wait till the end if they have any left, because we
Right,
want the
yeah.
customer to get it first.
Yeah.
So I'm always like, I go over there, I'm like, do you have any left? And it's usually like, we have this one left. So we got one this time, but it's never the one I want, because
Right,
that
yeah,
one goes.
exactly.
So I try to keep that, and the same thing goes with us. Like, our first few markets, because we live so close, we'd be like, give me 10 minutes, and one of us would go back and grab it and restock it, and
Yeah.
because all the we sell
Yeah,
it so quickly.
yeah. That's the good thing about being a local farmer's market.
Yeah.
If you do live close,
Yeah,
and someone
like,
else
yeah,
can
stock,
run
restock,
and go get.
restock. Yeah, it's been awesome.
It must be terrible to sell out of all your product, right?
Yeah, exactly. Are you guys gonna come on Father's Day? That is the big one.
I might try to make it.
Good.
We talk to family. Maybe it'll be what
That'll
I
be-
do for my Father's Day. you
Yes,
know?
and that's what's been fun.
It's like-
When we were sort of nervous, and we had a great turnout, because technically Dad's usually like, sure, whatever, or we get the moms that are like, Dad's going golfing, we're gonna go get some food for the grill later,
Yeah.
and they'll go pack up like.
Well, now
all
that I
the
heard you got a
food.
meat vendor there, maybe that's
So
what I'll do
good.
for my
So
my
good.
Father's Day dinner. I'll just find something I want to grill.
Delish, yeah, that's fine. And then with the farms there, you can get some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
Yeah, now the first one, Jen told me that some of the stuff's not up yet, like the vegetables.
Great
like,
point.
So
Yeah, so I feel like we did this one year. I think what you have to remember is, especially June, like strawberries will start coming
Yeah.
in. Then you see the raspberries start coming in. You follow the season, and especially when you get to the fall, it's so neat, because then you get like the real like hardy stuff
Yeah.
that come up. But
Mhm.
a lot of the early markets are plants
Yeah.
or herbs.
asparagus was
Yeah, like there's a lot of like what New England's soil can create. So that's the cool thing with whether not all my recipes match the season, but trying to get creative when you
Yep.
do show up at a market is fun for
Mhm.
me, because then you grab what you can and what you can make. It's like Foster's sauce. I made almost like a vegetable cacciatore with it. So whatever
Yep.
veggies are in season, I use his sauce, and I personally put a block of broth in.
Yeah.
But just to kind of enhance it. But it's
Mhm.
neat to just see what the season, like you said, what the growers can grow.
Yeah.
May, June, July, and then if you have a good watery season, you see like bigger or something more brighter. Like you see how it evolves with the weather and the season. It's kind of cool. Yeah.
It is cool. Nice. You have the recipe cards
Yes.
too.
Well, I think what's cool for Hale, like today, for instance, it's all the collaborations. I met with where they'll be doing a pop-up McGuire's Mushrooms out of
Yeah.
Hingham, wonderful family that are mushroom growers, and basically when you can take any of these locally made ingredients or locally grown ingredients and throw it in a recipe. So because now Hale also launched we have 3 different flavors, whether it's the lemon MCT oil or the OG, the regular, or the turmeric ginger lemon, we can get creative with
Yeah.
what we put in it. And if you want to make a soup or a stew, or Stargazer Farms also, she does an incredible job at creating recipes with whatever's in season from her field,
she's got in
and
the field, yeah.
she always seems to work my broth in, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
I'm always like, she was almost on Top Chef. She's that good. So
Oh,
watching
wow, okay,
people
yeah.
use our products is probably the highlight of
That's a
why.
great base for a lot of
It's
stuff.
awesome. So yeah, so we've been
Saves a lot of time if
utilizing-
you've got a lot of your other stuff
Yeah,
already mixed in.
I take
there,
the
so-
slow and low cooking out of the slow
Exactly.
and low cooking. You just use
Exactly.
it, and you don't have to be in the kitchen all day. Like,
Very true.
yeah, so it's fun. So yeah, so we'll be sending out our newsletter. We'll be there. We'll be setting up shop for Father's Day. We'll have over 30 vendors, and then we go all the way through. I don't know if everybody knew this, but same thing, third season, all the way through to November.
Yeah.
That November market's always a
Yeah.
hit because it's right before the holidays.
Exactly.
So you're like, oh my gosh, what can I get for Aunt Susie? You know, and there's your
Yeah.
there's your shopping. So that's been awesome. We were hesitant because of the weather, but
Yeah.
when we proved that they're going to still show up and it's
Yeah.
chilly, we're New
Well, that's the
England.
other thing. A lot of people might think with the crappy weather, it's like, oh, how many other vendors are actually going to show up?
We
Is
all
it
do.
worth going? I'm like, yeah, well, if they all go.
We
you
all
know,
go,
exactly.
and technically, what we always say is like, what else is there to do? Like, you can't just show up, put a layer on, put a umbrella, like
Exactly.
get the kids out of the house. Like
the
we
poncho
were,
parade. And
yeah,
start going,
exactly. They can go to Taylor Swift and pouring rain, then come to
Yeah.
the
Right,
Hanover
exactly.
Farmers
Yeah,
Market.
exactly. If you can go sit around and wait
Yeah.
on that.
Now the vendors are the same.
We have some new ones, yeah. We rotate most. There's like some anchors that now have been every season. The
Mm.
ones we've been
Yeah.
at, Honey I'm Home, Salsa's Back, Burke's, Hale, a lot of Frida's Farm. We have Hippie Pilgrim. A lot of our originals are there, and then we have some pop-ups and some rotating.
Yeah.
They might do they might pick 4 markets. So
Yeah.
and then like I noted earlier is that then we'll kind of sneak in a few food trucks that
Yeah.
might change it up each
Yeah,
week.
because
each
Burks
month.
wasn't there last time I went.
Yeah,
there,
so
and
they'll be
that was
back.
a little-
Yes,
That was like- that was
as
one
you
of the
can
things I
hear,
got.
now you heard, they've been working on some big stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I can forgive them for that.
Yes,
And
yeah,
so,
they're great.
so-
She does, I feel like her favorite is she takes her Thai habanero and she blends it with my turmeric, ginger, lemon, and coconut cream. And she
Oh,
said
yeah.
it's like her favorite go-to.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Yeah.
Shannon, yeah, she
Yeah.
loves it. She's great.
Oh yeah, no, I love Thai chilies and habanero is a great combination.
Yeah.
Have a little mango and good to
Yes,
go.
yeah, there you go. I made some fish tacos the other night. Used that, and the other thing that I just posted too, I used her hot sauce for the fish tacos, but I also made a green gazpacho.
Oh, okay. Hmm.
So it just had and I used bone broth instead of water.
Oh
so,
yeah, so that you just
I always I can sneak bone
increase
broth
flavor.
in
Yeah,
there, yeah.
exactly.
So good.
And the people that do you have like a limit on how many vendors you can hold?
It's
or-
honestly, of course, I want everybody.
Yeah.
Jill's so good she maps it out. She builds the map.
Mm.
We also follow all the standards that the Hanover Police give us for not only the detail, but really the plan to be able to get in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have to cap the ends, and right now, that's why we were a little nervous about Cedar, but it fit well. It went really well, but we almost try to keep everybody in one area for safety purposes,
Mhm.
and it's been about 30, a little over 30,
Yep.
because then we'll cap it with some food trucks,
Yep.
which keeps it kind of safe.
Mm.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
nice.
Well, yeah. Bookend it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just to kind of keep it all in one spot. So
Yeah.
the dogs are still not welcome inside the market. I always like to mention that, but
Yep.
because the fields are so big,
Yep.
there's so much space for them. So if you can just have
I saw
someone
some
hold,
people
yeah,
walking
they
their
come. They
dogs
still
on-
come. It's
First,
great.
Go to the booth. What do
Yeah.
they got? Okay, grab them this.
Yeah,
and
and then
come
they
back.
hang out.
And
Yeah,
then they
so
switch.
I wish it wasn't our rule. It's the Board of Health's rule because it's food and animals.
it's a
but
safety thing.
there's so many grounds around the high school that the dogs still have some fun. And then people usually make a day of it and kind
Yeah.
of find a shady spot.
Yeah, we did. We were there for at least hour and a half last
Yeah.
time we went. So that's a long time for my kids to stay interested in
Yeah.
something, especially walking. So no, it was a great setup. I want to go. So if my family won't go, I'll go there by myself.
Yeah.
And then I can go stay as long as I want.
There you go. Yeah, no
So-
pressure. And I think what I love about hearing when people come and they get to meet new people that they might not have because we
Mhm.
don't have brick and mortars. That's where a lot of some of my favorite businesses started. And I know your family got a taste of it the other day. One of my favorite restaurants in Boston is Tate. And they're actually, I just heard a rumor they're open at the Hingham Shipyard. Pumped. I might be
Yeah.
hanging out there more often. But
That's another big area.
yeah, but this was a farmer's market concept. They showed up with their baked goods at the farmer's market, and it always inspires me when I walk into Tate's, business now, and the Seaport's my favorite, or we're right over near the Common, and you look at what they have, how they've built their business, but they started at a farmer's market in Copley Square.
Mhm.
So every time I'm in kind of my groove and in it, I honestly feel like I'm aspiring towards not maybe like the big brick and mortars in the city, but that, that's how a product really launches. You can organically grow by getting kind of the feedback from
Yeah.
your customers and the interaction from the customers and the inspiration from especially that I give samples. Hake Bone
Yes,
Broth,
yes.
try this. They're like, oh my gosh,
Yep.
It's like that instant gratification of, I'm onto something.
And you can
like
also
that.
learn based on that, the popularity of a certain item to
Got
stock
it.
one way versus another.
Yeah, we didn't think
Don't
everybody
go
was
this
gonna
way,
like
go this way,
the turmeric
you know.
one because it was a little too healthy, and
Mhm.
we were hesitant. And I'm like, oh, is that like really super healthy? And it's
Right? Did you go past the border of
yes.
this is healthy, but
Yes.
it's you know, or
And we
was it-
talked about that with the mushroom today. We sat with, I love lion's mane. I think it's I love brain focused, anything that's like super, you know, has a specific purpose and health. And chaga is another big buzzword right now. Chaga is like super
Yep.
woodsy. That's like you cut it off
I
trees.
see it all the time for
Yeah. If you're a hiker.
teas or,
So
yeah.
I think too we have to walk that fine line. But guess what? I've got the audience that I can ask.
Yeah, exactly.
So I get to show up and say, hey, dude, you like this?
Yeah,
you want to try
testimonies
this?
on
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like what you're doing with the podcast. You get to sit here and put it out there and get people to respond and comment, and you get to share other people's businesses.
And we figured out a couple different ways of how to, you know, get people to be interactive
Yeah.
with it and get some feedback on a few things, which is why, you know, it's just been steadily
Good.
getting
yeah.
with larger numbers and
Mhm.
Yeah,
branching out to further places. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's
Awesome.
nice.
Kind of like the, you know, like the idea of talking to the vendors. I mean, any opportunity when we get people on, we get a chance to talk to like the public. You get to see a glimpse into like their life
Yeah.
and their, you know, and you know what they're, you know.
Yeah.
I think it's just a good way to connect and
Agreed.
make you know, connect the seller and the buyer.
Yeah,
in a
and make it
sense.
that personal. It just makes it more personal.
Yeah, they're
for sure.
people too. They're not, you know,
Right, I
they're
was
not,
gonna
they're not
say.
a corporate element that,
Right.
you know, has no soul. There's a reason that they're doing it. They either really believe in it, they enjoy it a whole lot.
Yeah.
Usually it's a whole lot of both of those.
And there's a story behind it.
Exactly.
If you do that in a personal aspect of, you know, everybody has a story. Well, every business has a story too.
Yeah.
And I think that is like the thread that really keeps us all together. And
Yeah.
that's the inspiration, that's the commitment, that's also the appreciation, like,
Mhm.
of the support you give back, because now, you know, we're a business too, and we're trying to impact community and create, you know, a thriving business as well.
Yeah.
So I like being in community with people like you guys.
Yeah. Well, we're thrilled to be a part of it. You know.
Mhm.
All right, well, you better come on Father's Day
I'm
then.
gonna do my best to get there. I got
Okay.
there's an art festival as well, so I'm gonna try
Okay.
to split my time between
Okay,
the two.
I know that's your jam, so maybe send half the family for a little bit, and the other half can go, yeah, so.
Well, whether or not, you know, if I don't, you know, it'll be Father's Day, so I might, you know, maybe I'll send some representatives
Yes.
from the family to go pick some
With a
things
list.
up for me.
There you go.
I know the pasta, the bread,
Yeah.
and the salsa, and the sauce,
Yeah.
pasta sauce will be on
Yes.
that. I think I can probably hook you up, you don't even need to send the list. I'll just make sure that's what you get for Father's
Yeah.
Day.
All right, well, I mean, it's awesome having you in
Thank
here.
you. It's
I will
great.
hope to have you, you know, hopefully, you know,
Next
maybe
season.
maybe I'm there, you know, yeah.
I'll be back.
We'll be back. Maybe we're back on talking about
Yeah.
some other things. People always love to hear from you.
Thank you.
You know, talk girl gang, always a fun conversations
Yes.
when you know, whenever I get a chance to talk to you. So I'm glad that we get to record this and you know, let other people in on the
Yeah, maybe
You
towards
get
The
the
action,
fall time we can get some closer towards the fall season, so we get an idea of what's
what's coming.
coming
what's
for
brewing.
those
Yeah,
last things
we'll
just
probably have
before
some
the
new,
holidays.
yeah,
you know?
new stuff brewing. I'm excited, I'll be
yeah.
back.
Maybe
Sounds-
we'll get the camera down to the farmers market. One of these.
That will be
one
fun.
of these versions.
Live.
Yeah, live.
Yeah.
Live
There you go.
from the
All
farm.
right,
Sounds like a plan to me.
done.
So,
Awesome.
All right, thank you.
all
See
right,
you guys
everybody.
soon.
Well, thank you for listening today, and we'll see you next time.
All right. See ya.